Hello, and welcome to the It's in Queens podcast, the podcast that dives into the stories, the spirit, and the standout people that make Queens unlike anywhere else. I'm your host, Jeff Simmons. This podcast is made possible thanks to the Queens Economic Development Corporation and the Queens Tourism Council. These two organizations are dedicated to celebrating all that makes our borough vibrant, diverse, and full of opportunity for residents, workers, and visitors alike. Queens has long been a launch pad for dreamers and doers. Whether you're walking past a food truck in Jackson Heights, a studio in Long Island City, or a startup in Jamaica, you will feel the pulse of innovation and resilience. Behind many of these success stories is the support of the Queens Economic Development Corporation, or QEDC. The organization has been a reliable partner for local entrepreneurs, offering not only resources and training, but also a sense of community for those taking the leap into business ownership. One of the standout programs doing just that is the Queens Tech and Innovation Challenge, a yearly competition that helps budding business owners turn their ideas into thriving ventures. Sponsored by Con Edison, Google, Queens Public Library, and Resorts World New York City, QTIC empowers the next wave of leaders with mentorship and funding. Launched as an evolution of the longtime Queens startup competition, QTIC has quickly grown into a high-profile opportunity for local entrepreneurs. Each winner receives $20,000 to jumpstart or scale up their business, and a shout out also goes to the Queens Borough President's Office. And I'm excited to continue our tradition of spotlighting one of this year's winners. Today, you're going to meet Holly Diamond, who took home top honors in the Enterprise Tech category. She's the founder of WorkOnward, an innovative platform that uses maps to connect job seekers directly with small businesses in their neighborhoods. So let's hear from Holly. Holly Diamond, welcome to the It's in Queens podcast.
Thank you for having me, Jeff.
I want to start off by finding more about you. First, tell me a little about your background and your career.
Absolutely. So I'm a recruiter by trade. I've been working as a recruiter for the past 10 years, companies like Adecco, and I moved to New York about 2008. For those of you who don't know, there was economic recession. It was a really difficult time to get a job. And ever since I moved to New York, I've been working as a recruiter.
So what inspired you to create WorkOnward?
Absolutely. It was a pandemic. Pandemic changed a lot to a lot of people, especially for my parents. I mentioned earlier that I work as a recruiter, and when the pandemic happened, my parents lost their jobs. They've been working in hospitality industry for over 20, 30 years. And when pandemic happened, my parents couldn't get a job. So naturally, as a recruiter, I did everything I could to help them get a job, and I couldn't. And so what my parents and we really struggle a lot, both financially, but they've been working for nonstop, and in the restaurant industry, you work long hours, right? And suddenly, everything just become upside down, and they're really struggling a lot. So what we ended up doing right in the middle of the pandemic was we took a risk. We opened up the restaurant. We're originally from South Korea, so we opened up the Korean restaurant in the middle of the pandemic.
Well,
And
I was gonna say, how did the restaurant do?
the restaurant was struggling. I remember, I don't know if I'm sorry, could you ask the question one more time?
You said you opened up a restaurant in the middle of the pandemic. How did that do?
Yeah. So Jeff, it was very tough. I remember exactly the date that we opened, December 7, 2020. So probably the challenging time, in the snowstorms coming, nobody was walking in the street. And I remember in the first month we opened, we only sold like 2 to 3 tickets. It was impossible to survive. Nobody really knew about our restaurant, and we didn't have enough money to do the marketing. So we really had to rely on local communities, our neighbors, anybody who come into the restaurant. Try to do everything I could to become their, to be their go-to place for them.
So whenever someone creates a business, I'm very curious what the problem is that they try to address, how the business will help remedy a problem. Talk a little about that because I want to make sure people know how you're solving problems.
Thank you. Yeah. So the funny thing happened as I transitioned from a recruiter to a restaurant owner. I started to see the hiring challenges I never seen before for immigrant-owned businesses, minority woman-owned businesses, and a lot of business owners are not technically savvy, and you know, people are not posting jobs on Indeed and LinkedIn. We rely on the word of the mouth. So we rely on the people in our network. And one day, I was helping my mom at the restaurant. We had a server that quit, and we need to find the server right away. And my mom like screamed at me from the kitchen, "Bring the pen and paper." I didn't know what was that, and she was like, "Write down help wanted in English." I'm like, "Mom, it's December 2020 in a snowstorm. Nobody would know that we're hiring." So she wanted to post the help wanted signs on the storefront window. And then that really kind of coincided with my background as a, HR and the recruiting space. I start to see the needs and the demands, not just from our restaurant, but, our neighborhood were all struggling, to find the local talents. And so we wanted to build a solutions for helping people like my parents.
So, for anyone who's unfamiliar with WorkOnward, talk a little about how your map-based hiring platform works and what makes it unique and innovative.
Absolutely. So I always really like the map. Like when you feel lost, we use a map all the time. When you're on the subway, we use a map, right? The map-based platform really creates more of a sense of community that you can find the local businesses right in your neighborhood by plugging in the zip code. So similar to Yelp, similar to Airbnb, Zillow, but my inspiration really comes from Craigslist. And I work in the building, my office in the Civic Hall, and Craigslist, the founder, Mr. Craig, was actually in the building. And he was really becoming the inspiration of, putting the map together. But we really wanted to focus on immigrants and minority women-owned businesses.
And I have to say, as we're doing the interview, I have your website up at workonward.com and I see the little blue dot where it says Jackson Heights because that's where I am. And I think for a number of people, what makes this really a good resource is, if you don't want to travel far, for instance, if you don't want to have to spend a lot of money trying to get to work each day, you can look in your neighborhood. Talk a little about, how you have helped people or how you envision helping people moving ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have a ton of stories to share. Like a lot of people in the Queens area are spending so much longer time on the commuting from the Long Island rail to bus to subway train stations. And so, we had this woman, she's in the Flushing, longtime resident. She's been commuting back and forth to city for the job. And she didn't even know that there's a job in her neighborhood in the area. One of the things is that she's never, on the internet. She's in her 60s, and she's always a child looking for a job, and then word of mouth, and she knew somebody that who's the hiring in the city. So all she knew is like she take a subway every day, and take a subway 7, and then going to the city. For this platform really is like you all use cell phones, right? You don't have to sit in front of the computer. You don't have to create a resume. You would open up your map or open up your phone, and then you can plug in the zip code to see the jobs in your neighborhood. The woman that I helped, her name is Sue, in her 60s, and those kind of stories really become my motivation to keep it going.
And this feels like it's such a win-win situation. It's a win for the person looking for work, and it's a win for the business that's trying to find an employee.
Absolutely true. That we really value and focus on like creating the local employment, creating local job opportunities. It's not just about the getting a job, it's the whole community aspect. I had another example with this woman, Rochelle. She's a single mom, and she recently had a thyroid surgery, and then she was like she was really struggling to get a job. and you know, she found the job through our on the map and the WorkOnward, and now that she's spending more time with her daughter, and her employer, her bosses are helping her to like taking care of her kids. And she mentioned something that really stuck to my heart is that, you know, she found like a family, she found like a home, she felt like she was alone. A lot of people like us in New York feel very lonely. We go to work and we don't talk. We're always plugging our earphone and listen to the music. And now that we're spending more time engaging in the local communities, and I think that's just a beautiful thing throughout this job creations in the local neighborhood.
So you are one of the winners of the 2025 Queens Tech Innovation Challenge. You won in the Enterprise Tech category. Talk a little about what this recognition means to you and how it's going to help your business.
It really is more than the validation. It really is more than about, yes, we're building for our right community. I think it's really like Queens. Queens is the most diverse city, not just in New York City, but around the world. When you walk around this in the neighborhood, you would hear over 300 different languages speaking. It's very unique. And then this is a very strong the community where there's multicultures and different restaurants and people coming in and creating different job opportunities. And I think for us, winning this Queens Innovation Tech and Enterprise Tech, really try to focus on taking advantage of this the most culturally diverse city around the world, and then creating more job opportunities right in our neighborhood.
And before I let you go, for our listeners, please remind them about the website address and if they want to get involved, if they want to find out more information, where they should go.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So our website is called the WorkOnward. It's www.workonward.com. And I named it WorkOnward because we, as an immigrant, as a first generation who went to college, there's a lot of struggles and the challenges that we face. As a female founders fundraising in this market, it's been always challenging as well. So WorkOnward is a reminder to just keep pushing, keep going, stay focused and stay onward. So that's a WorkOnward. Otherwise, I'm in Queens and hiring events, job fairs. You will see me talking to the business owners at laundromats, a supermarket. So you can find me on the neighborhood.
You're out there. Holly Diamond, I want to thank you so much for appearing here on this week's It's in Queens podcast.
Thank you so much, Jeff. It was great. Thank you.
It is hard to believe we're already in June. The days are getting longer, the weather is warming up. It is the perfect time to get outside and soak up everything that Queens has to offer, from street fairs to outdoor concerts to cultural festivals and parades. And of course, new eats popping up virtually everywhere. There's so much on the horizon. So whether you're exploring a new neighborhood or revisiting an old favorite now, well, it's time to get out there and enjoy all the energy and excitement that Queens brings this season. If you're looking for something to do this month or really any time of the year, we always have you covered here at the It's in Queens podcast, because that is where Rob Mackay comes in. He's with the QEDC and the Queens Tourism Council, and each and every week he brings us details on some of the more dynamic events that are happening in Queens. Here's this week's report.
Hi, Jeff. I know we talked about an event at Queens County Farm Museum last week, but I just have to go back there again this upcoming week. That's because the Strawberry Festival is going on there on Saturday, June 7th, starting at 10 a.m. This includes, of course, a full day of educational programs and games. There's going to be a strawberry costume parade and a strawberry eating contest that I might just have to enter. The other stuff that goes on the farm, like the hay rides and the bucolic activities, will be there too. But there'll also be such workshops as make strawberry jam, strawberry quilt shares, make strawberry tea bags, and strawberry scavenger hunt. It sounds like a pretty good day. I hope to see you there. And please understand that there's more information at It's in Queens. And of course, please follow us on social media. Thanks.
Thanks, Rob. That's just a few of the things happening in our borough, and the place to go to discover and explore everything that's on the horizon is so easy to remember. It's at the It's in Queens website, and that website address is itsinqueens.com. And if you're interested in more business-related news, well, then head over to the QEDC's website at queensny.org. And when you visit both of those websites, sign up for their newsletters. That way you'll get notified right in your inbox about opportunities. When you visit any place in Queens this season, make sure to snap a photo and share it with us. Use the hashtag #It'sInQueens because your photo could become our photo of the week. I'm your host, Jeff Simmons, and that's it for this week's It's in Queens podcast.